The emergence of Joe Gomes as a potential £44 million target for Manchester United is far more than just another transfer rumour. It is a profound tactical question mark over the club's long-term midfield strategy and a direct consequence of a systemic flaw that has plagued the team for seasons. The initial reports suggest a move of this magnitude could be pushed through as early as the January window, with the fee potentially climbing towards £50 million, figure that demands not just a good player, but an immediate, transformative solution. Meh. To understand the context, we must first accept the cold, hard reality of Gomes' current club situation. Wolves are, by all accounts, a sinking ship, and United, or any top club, would be remiss not to exploit the talent exodus that is sure to follow a season of decline. Gomes is undoubtedly a prime target in this scenario, a player who has quietly excelled despite the turbulence around him, yet the central debate remains. Does he possess the specific skill set required to elevate a club with aspirations of challenging at the elite level and Nolster? Or is he merely a reliable depth option, being asked to plug a foundational gap? Gomes' pedigree traces back to the structured development system of Flamengo in Brazil, where he initially broke into the first team and amassed over 80 appearances before making the jump to the Premier League with Wolves. Since his arrival in England, he has become a fixture, accumulating well over 100 appearances across all competitions. While his goal contributions are statistically negligible, he has 6 league goals, with a notable exception being a high-profile brace against Spurs. The value proposition with João Gomes has never been about offensive output. His primary designation is as a ball-winning midfielder, functioning either as a pure number 6 or, more commonly in a double pivot, as a number 8 tasked with the crucial, defensive, heavy lifting. No. At Wolves, he has been consistently paired with a partner like Mario Lemina, operating within structural variations like a 3-4-3 or a 4-3-3 or a 4-3-3, always with the core instruction to dominate central areas, execute aggressive pressing and counter-pressing, provide a screening shield for the backline, and maintain a simple, reliable link in possession. He is, to be blunt, a defensive specialist, not a chance creator, and perhaps not even an elite ball progressor in the traditional sense, relying instead on high-volume, high-intensity defensive actions to define his contribution to the team's structure. Conceptually, the role Gomes has mastered maps out directly onto the requirements of Manchester United's evolving system, particularly under a coach who favours a double pivot arrangement within a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 formation. This specific midfield structure is designed to cover ridiculous amounts of space, managing the defensive and transitional phases while demanding minimal creativity or elite passing range from the deeper midfielders. Hamper. The ball progression in this system is increasingly funneled through the wide centre-backs, who are tasked with feeding the forward 5, thereby liberating the pivot players to focus almost entirely on destruction and recovery. This is where Gomes provides undeniable value. A deeper look at the data reveals his strength. It is rooted in volume and efficiency in defensive engagement. Last season, he was consistently flagged as one of the Premier League's most tenacious tacklers, securing 43 successful tackles in one analysed period, placing him in the highest echelon of destroyers, a category shared only with figures like Vinicius Souza and João Palhinha. His volume extends beyond simple tackles, showcasing 511 total pressures, placing him 7th among all Premier League midfielders, including 181 pressures in the defensive third, second best, and 267 in the middle third, 7th. Furthermore, his work in the counter-press, winning second balls, and creating turnovers within 2 seconds of possession loss marks him out as a genuine pressing machine, fulfilling the specific high-intensity brief that has been sorely missed when Casemiro is unavailable or out form ball. However, the analysis of his play style brings with it an inherent caution. While his intensity is his greatest asset, it is a quality that often pushes him right up to the red line. His stats for this season, despite fewer minutes, show a continuation of this trend with a high foul count, over 2.6 fouls per 90 minutes, and a relatively high number of yellow cards. He is a player who embraces the constant duel, boasting 81 tackles and 133 ball regains. which put him in elite percentiles for overall defensive contributions. Yet, the nuance lies in his success rate. His ground duel success stands around 48%, respectable, but not dominant. The value is purely in the sheer volume of his relentless effort, his unwavering commitment to getting stuck into the contest, and his intelligent choice of pressing moments to disrupt opposition flow, even if he doesn't win. Every single one. Every single one. He stays on his feet, avoiding the unnecessary slide tackle, but his high-impact, clumsy at times aggression still leads to frequent infractions. It is this high-volume, relentless approach with its accompanying disciplinary risk that makes him reminiscent of an aggressive Ander Herrera rather than the composed, deep-lying orchestrator United may also need. A major concern in the context of replacing an aging Casemiro, or even just complementing a midfield, is his aerial vulnerability. Gomes sits only in the 25th percentile for aerial duels, a critical weakness in a system where the double pivot is frequently asked to screen the wide centre-backs from long passes and deal with box entries and crosses. Manchester United's defence has a structural vulnerability to aerial attacks and set plays, and bringing in a midfielder who struggles in this dimension would be a perplexing risk for a team desperate for stability in deep areas. Furthermore, his on-the-ball profile necessitates a specific type of midfield partner. His offensive stats are almost irrelevant, 7 shots in 12 matches with a low shooting accuracy, confirming that his brief is purely defensive. While he receives a good amount of the ball, his role is not to be the primary creator, progressor, or shooter. He is comfortable with short and medium-range passing, especially under pressure, and is adept at finding a nearby teammate to maintain possession and recycle the play, thus setting a controlled tempo. What he emphatically is not is a Michael Carrick, a Sergio Busquets, or a Jorginho. He is not a line-breaking passer who dictates play with penetrative verticality. So, his ball carrying is limited to moving a few meters out of immediate pressure before releasing, prioritizing stability and control above all else. This conservative approach, while functional, demands that his partner, whether it's Bruno Fernandes or a more technical number 6, must be the primary progression engine for the entire team. The implications for the tactical blueprint are significant. Gomes is a high-volume runner, covering huge horizontal and vertical distances to aggressively shield the defence during transitions, stepping out to press opposition pivots and fullbacks, and acting as the trigger for counter-pressing moments after a turnover. He possesses a natural appetite for the tackle and the duel, setting a tone of fearlessness and a willingness to work that can infect a whole team. He might not be world-class or top-tier, but he is quietly effective and provides undeniable depth, a quality that Arsenal's title challenge has proven is now non-negotiable. How? The proposed fee of £44 million feels gettable, largely due to the circumstances at Wolves, making the transfer viable from a logistical and financial perspective. But viability does not equate to a perfect fit. If United's goal is a rehearsed, structured build-up that plays through the feet of the forwards, layering back into the midfield for a killer through ball, then a player like Gomes, who is all about disruption and recycling, is an imperfect piece. The question of fit under a demanding, high-press structure requires a pivot who is positionally disciplined and provides consistent angles for build-up while offering protection. The current United squad has struggled to find a natural complementary pairing for this demanding double pivot, with even highly rated players looking uncomfortable. This is where Gomes becomes a strategic necessity, rather than a luxury signing. He is a Premier League proven athletic midfielder who can perform the janitorial work, the relentless sweeping and covering that allows more creative players to flourish. If the transfer strategy includes other profiles, such as links to a more attacking, progressive player like Elliot Anderson, a partnership of Gomes and Anderson becomes more viable in a potential post-Bruno, post-Casemiro United. This suggests a long-term strategy where the team is divided into 5 defensive players and 5 attacking players, with Gomes serving as the uncompromising defensive anchor. His job is not to make the highlight reel, but to relentlessly mop up mistakes. He makes the team better, providing crucial depth and high intensity, specialised performance, even if he is not the singular, title-winning signing. His true value lies not in what he creates, but in what he fundamentally prevents. Shoo.